In this video, I'm going to be showing you the new strategy that we are using for our clients over the agency to generate highly qualified, ready to buy leads at $1 to $3 each. And actually booking these leads into sales calls for our clients' high ticket offers, that's between $10,000 and $20,000 for less than $50 a call. Anyway, with that said, let's go ahead and get right into it. So for you to understand how this strategy works, I want to go ahead and compare it to the other strategies out there, right? There's VSL funnels, where you send cold traffic to a landing page where you're expecting them to watch a 10 to 20 minute video. Now, this has its pros and cons, of course. A lot of people click off, it's very expensive, but you do know that people who go through this funnel are certainly interested in what you have to offer. Then there is the instant forms, where you can get extremely cheap leads, but the leads are often low quality and they're not nurtured. They're literally just putting in information into a form that Instagram fills in for them. Anyway, this specific one works by running video ads to your ideal clients, where we call out their problems, we outline the solution, and we tell them to follow us on Instagram for the solution. And the reason why this is so perfect is because people following you, it's not a big ask, is it, to just drop someone a follow? You probably do it on a daily basis anyway with content that you resonate with. But the best part about that is it lets us see who these people are and determine who's qualified, who's not. And furthermore from that, these people are actually on our profile, seeing our stories, getting nurtured by our stories, seeing our reels, seeing all these different features that we have over on our profiles, which means we have this really long, really powerful sales cycle of people getting into what I call the Instagram ecosystem, getting nurtured for a long period of time. And then there are a variety of ways that we can go about converting these people, just so you know. One of them is like posting an Instagram story to a lead magnet. Now, the whole goal here is to get DMs through whatever it is. So people will be replying with a keyword to get the lead magnet. We also have like comment a keyword on reels to get a lead magnet. And then to ensure that every single person gets hit, we have an appointment set up, reach out to these people, thank them for the follow, ask them a question, and initiate that sales conversation so these leads can be booked directly into your calendar. Now, with that in mind, let's go ahead and get right into the specifics. So to create one of these ads, there are two components. There's the creative, and then there's actually the targeting, like launching the ad. So when it comes to the creative, for scripting it, we want to use a hybrid of the Peso ad format, which is a traditional ad format. It stands for problem, agitation, solution, outcome, where you're calling the audience out with the problem, you're kind of digging the knife a little bit deeper, making them feel the problem more, then you're outlining the solution to the problem, which is usually your unique mechanism, before talking about the outcomes, which is what they actually get, like the desired outcome that they're put in. But the problem with Peso nowadays is that it's been so overused by so many advertisers that it doesn't work unless you follow this hybrid format that we have invented and tested with hundreds of thousands of dollars for our clients. Here's how it works. Start out by calling out who the audience is, the ICP, along with what they're struggling with. Then to agitate it, you need to say how that pain point makes them feel, and then the real world consequences of that pain point. From there, we have a mid-roll call to action, which is a call to action in the middle of the video because people's attention spans are bad, they'll scroll away. So we'll tell people to follow you here on Instagram to learn the mechanism, right? The solution, which has X, Y, and Z benefits, or gets them to this specific ideal outcome. The more you kind of visually describe it, the better. Now, the problem with that is that people won't necessarily believe you if you're just saying these things. So then you need to back it up with personal and client results. So say, this is how my client name went from X to Y and Z time, and name who went from here to here. Then usually we like to have one person result and two client results before having that final call to action where you describe it in a different way. You tell them to follow you to alleviate this pain point or to get to this desired solution. Usually it's a bit of a different frame. So the way that I like to do it most of the time for my clients is, so if you're struggling with X, or so if you're tired of struggling with X, because then people can subconsciously be like, yeah, I'm tired of X, then follow me here on Instagram too, and then you go ahead and talk about the desired outcome once again. Because I do want you guys to know that there's no such thing as a long ad, but there's such a thing as a boring ad. As long as you can keep your ads engaging, which is done by the script, making sure people feel like you understand and you're keeping it authentic, and then there's also the editing to kind of add that cherry on top, then it's perfectly fine. So now that you know how to script this ad, it has to be recorded and edited. Now, don't overcomplicate this. You just simply need to be how the people you're wanting to work with be. So dress how they dress, be in a setup that they would actually understand and resonate with. It's either how they are, if they're like high level, or where they want to be. So for example, if you're targeting targeting beginners, let's say you're selling a drop shipping course, then you can pull off the whole designer clothes, the Lamborghini, the flashy penthouses, because people will respect that. But if you're targeting $100 million CEOs and they see you in this like green Lamborghini with like a Gucci shirt on, they're gonna be like, get the hell out of here, I'm not listening to the guy, I'll block you, right? So you need to kind of dress in a way that will be respected by the people you're trying to target. And that goes for everything else, right? The recording location, the editing, what content are the people you're trying to work with already consuming. The reason why we want to make our ads look exactly like the content in terms of how it's recorded as well as how it's edited is because then they won't know the difference between an ad, because humans nowadays are so good at understanding what an ad looks like versus an organic post that you'll probably know yourself when you see something that looks like an ad, aka like a slow-mo shot of a product or it's super professional as like high studio quality, you're just going to scroll off, you're not going to watch it. So we need to disguise our ads. Even running an ad right now, my business partner is filming it today. He's out in Marbella in Spain to film this ad, and it's like a street interview ad where we literally use that hybrid peso ad format, but we had an interviewer asking questions where then he talks about the agitation, the ideal outcome, and then has the call to action. So it's a format that people are watching, this School of Hard Knocks style, this Simon Squibb style of content where it's a street interview, but we've made our own ad within that, which is, it's a really good way and a good approach to take. So now your ad is ready. Let's go ahead and run it. So first thing I want you to do is post it as an organic reel on your Instagram as you would with any other reel. Make sure it has a thumbnail so it looks nice on your page. Post this reel organically and make sure the caption says follow at your username. So you're literally tagging yourself. So when they click on it, it pulls your page up to, and then you can either be like, solve these pain points or get to this desired outcome. And then you want to leave it running organically for 24 hours just to really maximize that organic reach. You don't want to just boost something instantly. And then you guessed it, you're going to go ahead and click the boost button on Instagram. Now, I know you probably heard people say it's bad, but after spending millions of dollars on ads for my clients, we can safely say that running it within Instagram gets you higher quality leads and more leads at a lower cost. I don't know what it is, but just keeping it all in the same platform works way better. It's only worthwhile using Meta Business Suite or Facebook like Ads Manager if you're either testing a campaign, which I have videos on, or if you're spending more than like $3,000, $5,000 a month on ads, then it's starting to get worthwhile. But for a lot of the coaches we're working with, they're spending $1,000, $2,000, $3,000 a month on ads and they're pulling in $100K a month, which by the way sounds crazy, but trust me, with this funnel, and I can probably break down the maths later, it's very doable. Okay, so after posting it organically for 24 hours, now we're going to go ahead and hop into Facebook Ads Manager where we're going to go ahead and launch this app. So the first thing you're going to want to do is click create a new campaign, and you're going to set this campaign as a traffic campaign. Now, once you've set it as a traffic campaign, go ahead, click create, make sure it's on manual traffic. Don't do any of the recommended settings. It's only really worthwhile if you're selling e-commerce. Now create a name. I'm just going to call this YouTube because we're filming a YouTube video right now. Scroll down. You don't really have to worry anything about here, except if you wanted to turn on advantage campaign budget. Now, the only reason you would do this is if you're testing different targets. That basically means that it will put your money between two different ad sets, which means basically you can be testing two different targeting options to see what's more effective for your business. Anyway, go ahead and jump into the ads set level and set the destination to Instagram or Facebook, and make sure you've checked your Instagram page. Now, this is my business partners. My ad account is disabled right now, unfortunately, so we're running everything through my business partners. Anyway, set a daily budget. His is in Norwegian crowns or whatever it is. So basically we're just going to set it at 50 USD a day. Make sure the started date. Usually people say don't listen to this. I don't like that advice. Set it as when your ideal clients would most likely be scrolling on Instagram. The reason why is because the first lead an ad gets is really important. If it's a high quality lead, then the ad will probably do well because Facebook has that data to feed it to more. But if it's a bad lead, then it's not going to do well. So make sure it's at a time that whoever you're targeting will be up. Because I'm targeting coaches with my business who are doing 30K a month who are struggling with inconsistency, right? They can't sleep at night because they don't really know where the next client's coming from, how they're going to close clients consistently, really just like make coaching work. And so most likely these people have a schedule. They're not just like being a degenerate scrolling on Instagram at 3 a.m. So I'll set it to a time which they're awake, which would most likely be evening time. So about, 5 p.m.-ish. I don't know why I said this. So around, just later in the day. So I would say around 7 p.m. is a good time to set it up. Now, once you've done this, you can go ahead and go to the audience controls. I'm going to remove Norway. We're going to target United States. It's a great market. Lots of good buyers out there. Oh, that's United Kingdom. may as well do United Kingdom as well. We have a lot of clients in the UK as well, not gonna lie. Now, when it comes to the audience, this is a tough one because a lot of people say Advantage Plus is the worst thing on earth. And with me, with working with all these clients, I can confidently tell you that they're both good and they're both kind of good for different businesses. So it really depends on your business. I would really suggest testing. So here is how to test it. You're going to go ahead and you're going to switch to original audience options for this. Now with your original audience, you are going to go ahead and add an exclusion. Now your exclusion is going to be your Instagram followers. So if you don't know how to do that, go to audiences and create an audience and just select like your followers, and then you're going to exclude them just so your followers don't already see this. There's no point. Now I always like to set my age at 25 because according to Instagram, I'm 25 and I'm very clearly not. And then I would set the age as like 40 just because we don't have clients really over 40. We have a couple, but not many. And then I usually set it to men because actually all of our clients right now are males. Now, after this, you can also add in some interests. So for my business, we always do content marketing. We always do coaching. And we always do, and by the way, you got to be careful with this because that's the field of study, which is not the right one. The right one is actually coaching interests. You always want to be going for interests. And this is the interest one you see right here. So coaching, education. And then we always like to also do lead gen as well. Cool. So now that we have this here, we can go ahead and set a language. You know, usually you don't want to touch this, and that's that. Then for placements, you want to click show more options, and you want to try and look around because they always move it for where you can change it to manual placements. So there we have manual placements, and I'm going to uncheck Facebook. I don't want to touch Facebook. I'm going to uncheck profile feed. I'm going to uncheck explore, home, and then I'm just going to leave it at reels, stories, and feeds, and anything else I'm going to uncheck because we really don't need it. And from there, we've made the ad set. We've set the targeting, we've set the budget, we've set everything we need to set. So now we are going to do the creative. So I always like to use existing posts. That's why we posted it on Instagram, then select a post. So, you know, I'm just going to select one from my business partner. We'll just select a random one for this instance. So now we've selected the post, okay? Now it's important that you set the right caption within Instagram because usually the primary text is already entered in. Sometimes you can change it, but you know, Facebook's interface isn't always the best. Anyway, always turn off these enhancements. It's literally just a waste of money. Like you don't want to use any of them. You're going to turn off every single Advantage Plus feature. The only one I like to use is the CBO, which is what I spoke about before, and then also the targeting. Now, I know I told you guys, and you guys are probably thinking about it like, hey, Liam, you told us about a way to essentially like do different tests of targeting. So I'm going to show you what I would do in that instance. I'm going to go back up to the campaign level here. And then I'm going to turn on this here, Advantage Campaign Budget. See how this has now moved it to the campaign level. So it's going to split the budget down between ad sets. Okay, so I'm setting at $50 US a day. And now I'm going to go to the ad set here and I'm going to click this and I'm just going to do quick duplicate. Cool. So now we have a duplicate. So now the budget is going to be split between this here and this here. And now we can do different targeting. So for this second one that was just made, or it's actually the copy, I'm going to change the targeting to Advantage Plus. So I'm going to go ahead and click use Advantage Plus audience. And then basically what this means is that there are two options here. There's audience controls and there's advantage audience. Audience controls is like the baseline benchmarks of people in your market. Like basically you can't show it to people in India. You need to show it in the UK and the US. It's strict. We're not letting them be lenient with it. So I always suggest adding in the countries here as well as the minimum age because they try to get you with that, and also excluding your followers. You gotta be strict with like these baseline benchmarks. Now, this here advantage audience is your suggestions. So you're saying to Instagram, hey, I think you'll find good leads between this age range, but coming back up to the controls, you cannot show it to someone younger than this age. With that in mind, here you could add in the interest. And the reason this is different is because now it's going to start out by showing the ads to people in this direction, but it's not going to be kind of stuck to it. It can move freely and look at the data, which is good in some instances. We have clients with really good results doing this. The problem is if it gets off on the wrong track, it can't really tell what a qualified lead looks like with a traffic campaign. So we've had instances where clients are getting like old men, like 60-year-olds, just following them at like $1 a pop. So we have to turn the ads off, put it onto manual, and just be like, Instagram, you're not messing around in this instance. And then with that done, I would literally just click publish. Now, make sure for testing that it's a controlled test, so you're not having different ads to test when you're testing an audience. You need to keep all the other variables the same. I think I'm kind of getting off here. I'm getting off track, but let's go ahead and get back on track. To analyze and optimize these ads, simply leave them running. Don't touch a thing if it's working, if it's not working. Set a time period. I suggest 10 days on $50 a day and leave it. Trust me, it's good to train your ad account. And then in addition to that, if you make any micro adjustments to an ad, there is a very high chance that it will stop working because Facebook just doesn't like changes. It's like a snow globe, you know, one of those things where you shake it around. If you make a change, it shakes it all up and it takes a very long time for everything to settle to back to where it was. And sometimes it might not even happen in this case. So leave it. And then after that, you want to look at metrics. Most important thing is lead quality. I see a lot of people getting mixed up and getting stuck into the trap of like, oh, I got a low cost per click. I got a low cost per 3-second watch. Those don't matter if the leads aren't good quality. So look at which ad is getting good quality leads and then start to look at the cost and then start to look at the lower metrics. Usually with Facebook, a good identifier between ad sets and then also specific ads is what has the highest spend is oftentimes the best ad, even if it has higher costs, because Facebook is delegating more spend to that specific campaign because there's something specific about it that they think is very optimal. So now your ad is live, you can analyze the data and you can determine what is a winner, what's a loser, and make decisions accordingly. How do you actually go about converting them? The first thing is nurturing, so making sure you're creating content, which is stories, reels, all these different things to warm up leads, giving them value, showing them different case studies, and this will warm them up. It'll make them like you. And then there are two ways we go about converting them. Both of them are centered around one-to-one direct conversations. The first one is getting an appointment setter with an appointment setting script to reach out to every single person that interacts with any content of yours, that follows you, likes your posts, so on, and start a conversation before bringing them down the flow, right? Working out where they are, what they do, qualifying them, where they want to go, and pitching a call as the solution. And the second way is pretty similar. It's posting a story about a lead magnet and saying reply with this word to get free access. They'll reply and then the setter will say, hey, thanks for reaching out. Here you go. By the way, and then they can continue with that specific setting flow. If you want the setting flow we use for our clients that they pay us a lot of money for, then just go ahead and message me on Instagram at Videos with Liam and I'll send it directly to you. Anyway, they use this setting flow to book people into calls from either their story replies for a lead magnet or like comments, like ManyChat comments at the end of ads. And the chances are you've probably been part of this funnel before. If you've ever gotten one of those messages from someone saying, hey, thanks for X. Are you here for the content or are you struggling with XYZ? Like there's a lot of different message types that people usually say. That's just a setter trying to start a conversation with you. And so from there, we're just booking these people into sales calls. It's pretty realistic from $1,000 to $3,000 a month in ad spend that you can be booking 1 to 3 sales calls into your calendar every single day with qualified leads, which is where for most of our clients, we go ahead and hire a setter for them. And once you've set this up, you have an end-to-end system that gets qualified leads for you, nurtures them, and closes them for you with no involvement from your end. And I don't mean this lightly. We have a lot of clients who genuinely are just the face of their brand and coaches. They're just helping their students. They're changing their students' lives. And all their job is just setting up the camera and recording the exact scripts for the reels, the ads that I tell them to. And then that's that. Like they're getting leads, the setter's taking care of the leads, then the closer is closing the leads into their program. And then the coaches then meet the leads and actually like coach them and help them out. So it doesn't take a lot of money. It doesn't take a lot of time to set up. It just takes knowing the right things to have this system that lets you do what you love and be an actual coach. Because that's the problem that most coaches are actually facing. It's that they're spending all their time selling and chasing after that next client because they don't have a predictable way to close clients, which means that it's taking their time and energy away from helping their existing ones, which damages the whole look of their program and also their purpose, like the reason why they started in the first place. So with that said, that is how to launch your first ever Instagram ad campaign and scale it up. Hope you enjoy it. Like, subscribe.